What if the person you trusted the most turned out to be your greatest betrayal? In the heart of a seemingly perfect town, where friendships were cherished and marriages seemed unbreakable, an unimaginable treachery unfolded. Picture this: a loving husband, a devoted wife, and a best friend who shared in their lives. But beneath this harmonious facade lurked secrets that would shatter the very foundation of trust. In a tale that defies expectations, the husband finds solace in the arms of his wife's closest confidante, igniting a firestorm of emotions. Shocked and heartbroken, the wife decides to respond in the most unexpected way. She chooses to mirror his betrayal, sparking a chain of events that none could have foreseen. As we dive into this true crime story, get ready to uncover the intricate web of deceit, revenge, and the complex dance of human emotions. The twists and turns in this saga will keep you at the edge of your seat, questioning the very nature of love and loyalty. Stay with us as we unravel this gripping narrative filled with unexpected revelations and the relentless pursuit of justice. The affair unfolded unexpectedly, like a storm breaking over a calm sea. It started with small, almost imperceptible signs that whispered in the shadows of suspicion. The late nights, the sudden whispers that ceased as soon as she entered the room, and the glances that lingered a second too long. Each moment was a drop in the ocean of doubt, but it was enough to stir a ripple in her heart. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of red and gold, she noticed something that made her heart sink like a stone. Her husband's phone, usually glued to his hand, lay abandoned on the kitchen table, buzzing intermittently with messages. Curiosity and an unknown dread compelled her to reach for it. What she found was a text from her best friend that left her world spinning, a text filled with intimate words meant for passionate lovers, not the casual banter between friends. Her hands trembled and her breath caught in her throat as the reality of their betrayal washed over her. The contents of those messages, each word like a dagger, pierced through the fragile fabric of her marriage, unraveling the trust that had been woven through years of companionship. Betrayal has a way of draining color from the world, casting a shadow over every joy and turning fond memories into bitter recollections. The wife sat alone in the silence of their living room, the walls echoing her silent cries of anguish and disbelief. How could they, the two people she had loved and trusted most, conspired against her in the darkest way imaginable? Questions swirled in her mind like leaves in a storm. Was their friendship ever genuine? How long had the deceit endured? And perhaps the most painful question of all, had she somehow been blind to the truth she refused to see? As she sat there, her mind raced, her heart shattered in 1,000 pieces, and she realized that her life had veered onto a path she had never envisioned. The journey of unraveling this affair was only beginning, and with it, the exploration of loyalty, twisted and deceit, cloaked in the guise of love. The revelation was a fracture, but it was what she would do next that would redefine the lines of justice and revenge forever. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this emotional maelstrom, where trust is broken and betrayal weaves a web that ensnares the unlikeliest of victims. With her heart pounding like a war drum, she decided that her moment of truth had come. The evening was quiet, the kind of silence that thickens the air with anticipation. She waited, watching the clock as the seconds stretched into an eternity, each tick echoing her resolve. Her husband arrived first, a familiar presence in an unfamiliar scenario. He was none the wiser to the storm that had gathered in her eyes. Her best friend followed soon after, her laughter filling the room like a melody, oblivious to the discord about to be unveiled. The wife stood before them, her eyes fixated on the two faces she had known so well, now strangers in love's betrayal. Her voice trembled slightly as she spoke, an iron edge beneath the surface of each word. She revealed the text, the proof of their deception, letting it hang in the air like a spectre. The room, once a haven, now held the weight of her accusation. Her husband's face shifted from confusion to a mask of horror as the truth unfolded. As the initial shock faded, he stammered, searching for excuses or explanations that would not come. Beside him, her best friend paled, guilt etching itself into her features. There were no words that could bridge the chasm of betrayal that had opened between them. The wife's voice cut through their silence, each question a thrust into the heart of their deceit. How long? Why? Was it worth the destruction of trust? Her words were relentless, a deluge that none could withstand. Her best friend, eyes lowered in shame, whispered apologies that dissolved into the heavy air. Her husband, cornered by the truth, could only offer stammered confessions and regret, a broken man before the woman he had wronged. In that moment, their masks crumbled, revealing the raw, unvarnished reality beneath. The confrontation was a mirror, reflecting not just their failures, but the depths of human frailty. The wife stood strong, each revelation a step toward reclaiming her narrative. It was the first act in a drama of retribution, where the lines between justice and vengeance began to blur. As the echoes of their confrontation lingered, something resolute flickered in her eyes. The world had shifted, and so had she. Prepare to journey deeper into this story, where betrayal begets retribution, and the scars of the heart forge paths unimagined. The plan for revenge simmered beneath the surface of her calm exterior, like embers waiting to ignite into a blazing inferno. At first, her emotions were an unruly tempest, swirling with heartbreak, fury, and despair. It felt as though her world had been reduced to ashes, each bitter moment weighing heavily on her spirit. But in the solitude of her thoughts, clarity began to emerge, a calculated resolve taking shape amidst the chaos. She knew that confronting the betrayal was just the beginning, and merely accepting the remnants of her once peaceful life was not enough. Her mind, once consumed by anguish, gradually shifted towards a fierce determination to reclaim her dignity and power. It was a resolve that required her to step into the shadows of her own morality, determined to mirror the deceit in kind. This was not an act of mere retaliation, but a deliberate move in a game she never wished to play. Each step she planned was like a piece of a puzzle falling into place, building a strategy that reflected the betrayal she had suffered. It was a plan that required precision, patience, and an understanding of the very vulnerabilities used against her. As she mapped out her course, it was not without an inner conflict, the tug of her conscience wrestling with the desire for poetic justice. Could she become the very thing she despised? Yet each time doubt surfaced, it was met with the reminder of the wounds inflicted upon her trust, fueling her unwavering resolve. She would not merely endure, she would rise, shaping her narrative with the same hands that had been dealt such a cruel fate. As the days passed, the wife honed her plan with a quiet intensity, each decision calculated and deliberate. The very foundation of her scheme lay in the understanding of human nature, of how vulnerability could be turned into a weapon. She knew well the intricacies of deception, having been ensnared by them once, and now she would wield them to her advantage. Her husband's patterns, once unnoticed, now became a roadmap guiding her actions, a guide to unraveling the facade and mirroring his indiscretions. The irony of it all was not lost on her, that she would use the echoes of his actions to script her own narrative of betrayal. Every moment of doubt, every pang of guilt was set aside, replaced by the cool precision of someone who had nothing left to lose. Her path was chosen, and the world she knew would never be the same. As we delve deeper into her calculated journey, we see how pain can forge an unexpected strength, and how determination can transform anguish into a masterful symphony of revenge. Stay with us as we explore the intricate dance of emotions and intentions in this tale of betrayal and retribution. Seeking the perfect accomplice involves a delicate balancing act of trust and necessity. In the labyrinth of betrayal, she found herself needing an ally, someone who could understand her plight without judgment, and perhaps had a stake in the outcome of her tale. That's when she remembered Ethan. A mutual acquaintance, Ethan had been a lingering presence in their social circle, often overlooked but always observant. He was known for his quiet demeanor and insightful observations. Behind his unassuming facade lay a mind that thrived on understanding human nature's complexities. A former psychology student with an uncanny knack for reading people, Ethan had once confided in her about his experiences with betrayal, revealing a shared understanding of the pain it inflicted. In the wake of her betrayal, she reached out to him, initially seeking comfort in someone who could empathize with her predicament. It was during their candid conversations, under the veneer of shared vulnerability, that she detected a spark of willingness, a silent agreement to help her reclaim her narrative. Ethan's motivations were not merely born out of empathy, but a desire to pivot the scales of justice, to see truth restored where deceit had thrived. His own past, haunted by a similar betrayal, had left scars, fueling a deep-seated desire to aid those who had been wronged. He saw in her a mirror of his own struggles, a chance to rewrite the ending of a story that had once left him empty. Together, they crafted a plan, his analytical thinking complementing her emotional drive. The alliance they formed was unspoken, a mutual understanding that required no words. Ethan, with his nuanced grasp of human behavior, provided the perspective she needed to navigate the tricky waters of her scheme. He was the anchor she needed when she felt adrift in her righteous quest, a reminder that her path, though unconventional, was motivated by the betrayal she had endured. His role in her unfolding drama was that of quiet support, a silent partner in the dance of retribution she had choreographed. As their shared venture progressed, the lines between right and wrong blurred, but their purpose remained steadfast, to illuminate the shadows cast by deceit with the light of truth. Stay with us as the saga unfolds, revealing how alliances forged in the crucible of betrayal can recalibrate the scales of justice and tip the balance in favor of the wronged. The parallel affair begins with an unexpected encounter, a moment that seemed orchestrated by fate itself. It unfolded in the dimly lit corners of a bustling downtown cafe, where casual gazes met and lingered just a heartbeat longer than decorum allowed. He was a stranger to her, yet there was a familiarity in his eyes, a kindred spirit that resonated with her unspoken pain. Their conversation started innocently enough, a shared appreciation for the cafe's ambience, but beneath the surface lay an unspoken understanding that neither was willing to acknowledge just yet. As days turned into weeks, their brief encounters grew into stolen moments, each one layered with an intricate tapestry of desires and unvoiced regrets. There was an uncharted thrill in their secrecy, a mirrored reflection of the clandestine affair her husband had so carefully hidden. Every glance, every fleeting touch held an echo of irony, for she was now treading the same path she once condemned. The poetic justice of it all was not lost on her. She felt the weight of her own duplicity, a mirror to the betrayal she had endured, yet there was a peculiar liberation in it, a reclaiming of power stripped from her. Ironically, the very actions that had once shattered her world now fueled a quiet rebellion within her, an affirmation that she was the master of her own fate. She danced carefully around the edges of her morality, each step calculated, each meeting a deliberate choice in the unfolding narrative she was now writing. In these moments of shared intimacy, she found a solace that her broken marriage had long denied her, a fleeting companionship that transcended the boundaries of guilt. Her heart, once a fractured shell, now pulsed with a renewed vigor, questioning the rigid lines of right and wrong. It was a tangled dance, a precarious balance, mirrored in the shadows of quiet cafes and whispered conversations. And in the heart of this affair, she discovered a new truth, that in seeking her own justice, she had unearthed a path to healing she never anticipated. As we journey further into this tale, watch as the lines of betrayal blur and the complexities of human nature unfurl in ways that challenge our deepest perceptions of love and loyalty. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the web of intrigue, where every twist and turn carries with it the possibility of redemption or ruin. The psychological games played out like a chess match, each move calculated and strategic, veiled beneath the surface of their everyday interactions. The wife, now deeply entangled in her own affair, found herself reflecting on the emotional battlefield she and her husband had created. In the quiet solitude of her thoughts, she often pondered the duality of her situation, oscillating between roles of avenger and betrayer. Each encounter with her husband was a mental sparring session, a delicate dance where trust once stood tall and unyielding, but now teetered on the edge of collapse. She imagined herself writing entries in an invisible diary, each one a testament to the tangled web of deceit they both wove. A mental dialogue unfurled itself within her, two voices representing the competing forces of guilt and justification, each one striving to claim dominance over her actions. Her husband, though unaware of her own clandestine activities, sensed a shift in the air, a tension that clung to their conversations and lingered in their shared silences. His own guilt manifested as defensiveness, a shield against the accusations he expected at any moment. He too had his internal conversations, a split screen of denial and regret playing out in the recesses of his mind, challenging his ability to maintain the facade of normalcy. The wife noticed subtle changes in him, his absent gaze during mundane conversations, the way he lingered a moment longer before responding to her questions, each pause a testament to the unspoken turmoil within. The emotional strain was palpable, a thick fog that permeated their home, suffocating the remnants of intimacy. Together they navigated a precarious path, each aware of the other's potential breaking point, yet neither willing to relinquish the distorted equilibrium they had forged. The psychological turmoil wove itself into the fabric of their days, a silent third party in their marriage, pressing upon them with an unyielding weight. In the conflict of their shared lives, neither emerged unscathed, both prisoners to their own emotional games, Their journey, a testament to the complexity of human emotions, laid bare the intrinsic challenges of confronting betrayal and seeking revenge, a path where the heart and mind are both adversary and ally. As we delve deeper into this tale, uncover the hidden layers of the heart's defense mechanisms, where love and resentment coalesce into a fragile tapestry, balancing on the cusp of revelation. Stay with us as we explore how the psyche both torments and liberates, drawing out the deepest truths and setting the stage for unexpected resolutions. Unraveling trust began as a mere whisper of doubt, a faint ripple of uncertainty that gradually swelled into a tidal wave of suspicion, engulfing their once stable marriage. Every shared glance held a question. Every casual touch felt like a test, as the invisible chasm between them widened with each passing day. The wife, embroiled in her own clandestine affair, watched her husband with a new perspective, her mind a battlefield of conflicting emotions. She scrutinized his late arrivals and the hurried whispers over the phone, her heart echoing the paranoia that gnawed at her. Once mundane routines became fraught with tension. The making of morning coffee, now a silent ritual, each clink of the spoon in the mug amplifying the unspoken discord. In the quiet moments when they sat together, the air felt heavy, laden with the weight of unasked questions and truths too painful to confront. Anecdotes from their past, once shared with laughter and warmth, now passed between them with an edge of accusation, as if each memory held a clue to the unfolding mystery of their lives. Paranoia seeped into their interactions, coloring their conversations with an undercurrent of mistrust. Her husband's unexpected kindness felt like a camouflage for his guilt, while her newfound assertiveness masked the vulnerability she feared he would exploit. Their home, once a sanctuary, became a maze of perceived betrayals, where every creak of the floorboards and rustle of leaves outside the window seemed to echo with accusations. Dramatic recreations of their shared life played out in her mind, each scene a reenactment of what once seemed secure, but now stood on a shaky foundation. She saw the kitchen table where they once shared meals as a board of emotional chess, where every move and countermove were calculated to maintain an appearance of normalcy. The unraveling of trust was a slow, painful process, carving deep into the fabric of their lives and leaving behind a landscape scarred by doubt and fear, a place where love and suspicion collided in fiery dissonance. As we progress further into this saga, observe how the fractured lines of deception continue to spread, challenging the very core of their union and testing the resilience of their intertwined destinies. Stay with us as we navigate this maze of unraveling trust, where every step forward threatens to reveal the irreparable damage left in the wake of betrayal. The friend's perspective offers a glimpse into a world of concealed intentions and fractured loyalties. She was, on the surface, everything a best friend should be: supportive, trustworthy, a confidante in times of need. But beneath this safe facade lay the complex layers of her nature, where personal ambition and the allure of forbidden emotions blurred the lines of friendship. Her eyes, always quick to notice the unspoken between a couple, began to linger a moment too long, betraying a curiosity tinged with envy. On the evenings spent with the wife and her husband, her laughter was genuine, yet there existed an undercurrent of discontent, a longing for something beyond what life had scripted for her. She was caught in the web of her desires, a puppet pulled by strings of affection and deception. In quiet moments, when the wife turned to her for solace, she offered counsel that seemed sincere, Yet there was a subtle manipulation in her words, a nudging toward decisions that served her hidden agendas. Her motivations were a tangle of emotion and opportunity, the thrill of capturing the unattainable, the whispered secrets shared with the husband that grew into clandestine meetings, each one a step deeper into forbidden territory. In her heart, a battle raged between the fidelity of friendship and the intoxicating pull of desire, leaving her torn and uncertain. Every glance she shared with him carried the weight of unspoken betrayal, a secret language understood only by the two of them. To those outside their circle, her actions were a betrayal of the highest order, yet in her mind, a justifiable pursuit of a happiness she believed was within her reach. Her dual-sided nature unfolded like a shadow dance in the background of their lives, where trusted friend morphed into betrayer under the cloak of night. As we delve further into her motives and the devastating consequences of her actions, witness how the friend's presence casts long, inescapable shadows over the once sacred bonds of their friendship. Stay with us as we explore the tangled web of human emotions, where love and loyalty twist into unfamiliar shapes, and examine how one person's choices can alter the course of many lives. Tension peaked like a storm, gathering ominously on the horizon, threatening to break at any moment. The very air within their home felt electric, charged with unspoken fears and lurking suspicions. Each cross of paths, each shared glance across the dinner table, carried an unspoken challenge, daring the other to break the silence first. Both husband and wife found themselves walking on a delicate tightrope, each movement a tentative test of balance. She noticed the barely concealed anxiety in his eyes, the way he hesitated before answering simple questions, as if each response was a carefully weighed calculation. His phone, once carelessly left unattended, was now guarded with an almost obsessive vigilance, suggesting secrets kept just out of reach. Ironically, amidst his protective caution, he failed to notice her fleeting absences, the moments she slipped into another world of her own creation. The wife's late-night outings were explained away with practiced ease, citing errands or spontaneous meetups with mutual friends. Yet the shadow of doubt lingered, growing more opaque with each poorly concealed excuse. Every step she took toward her own secret life felt like she was walking a tightrope over a chasm of exposure, knowing that one misstep could send her plummeting into a confrontation she wasn't ready for. An unexpected visit from a friend nearly shattered their precarious charade. The casual mention of seeing her car parked in an unusual spot sent her heart racing, a bead of sweat the only tell of the panic beneath her calm exterior. Each near discovery was a staccato beat in the symphony of their deception, the rhythm disrupted by unexpected notes of near exposure. His slip came in the form of a voicemail, a message left in haste, delicately skirting the border of impropriety, yet revealing enough to spark a question in her mind. Listening to the words, a chill spread through her, a realization that their shared edifice of lies stood on fragile ground. The stakes were high, the cost of discovery a looming specter that cast long shadows over their lives. In their private thoughts, both husband and wife pondered the inevitable confrontation, the moment when truths would collide like tectonic plates, shattering the illusion with tremors that could not be ignored. As both stood on the precipice of exposure, the irony was not lost on them. The very act of seeking out their desires had brought them to the brink of undeniable truth. Stay with us as the story reaches a crescendo, where every lie whispered in the shadows threatens to step into the light, and the fragile fabric of their intertwined fates hangs by a thread. The moment of confrontation arrived with an air of gravity, as if the universe held its breath, anticipating the revelation of hidden truths. The wife, feeling the weight of her own secret life and the echoes of her husband's deception, knew the time had come to lay bare the reality festering beneath the veneer of their marriage. It happened on a day ordinary in appearance, yet laden with an undercurrent of inevitability. In their quiet living room, where memories of love and family echoed in the corners, she faced him with resolve etched into every line of her face. Her voice, steady and unyielding, broke the silence with an admission that hung in the air like a spectre. She confessed not just to her own affair, but to the knowledge of his infidelity, each word carefully chosen to strip the facade from their lives. The room thickened with tension as her husband absorbed the shock of her revelation, his expression a blend of disbelief and resignation. Silence stretched between them, a chasm filled with unspoken words and the heavy weight of understanding. Finally, his voice emerged, raw and stripped of artifice, acknowledging the truth of his own failings. In the midst of their exchange, a surprising shift occurred. Rather than igniting a firestorm of blame, a strange calm descended upon them. With their secrets laid bare, they found themselves in a place of unexpected vulnerability, exposed yet unburdened by the weight of their deceit. The emotional fallout was complex, a tapestry woven with threads of regret, shame, and a glimmer of understanding. They spoke into the night, their dialogue intense and unguarded, voices rising and falling with the rhythm of their confessions. Each question asked was a doorway to another layer of honesty, leading them through a labyrinth of shared pain and misguided intentions. In the aftermath of their revelations, they sat together in silence, the echoes of their confessions reverberating through the house. The emotional landscape that lay before them was raw, bearing the scars of their mistakes, but also the seeds of potential healing. For the first time in what felt like ages, they were two people facing the truth of their actions, without the masks they had worn for so long. Scenes of their confrontation lingered in the mind's eye, faces etched with the lines of their past decisions, a room filled with the ghosts of what had been. As the night gave way to dawn, an unspoken agreement formed between them, an acknowledgement of the need to either rebuild from the debris or walk away with the lessons learned from their shared descent into betrayal. As we move deeper into this narrative, we witness the power of truth to either shatter or mend, and we prepare to see how these confessions shape the future paths they choose to tread. Stay with us as we explore the aftermath of revelation and the journey toward potential redemption, or the acceptance of a path forever altered by the echoes of deceit. The consequences of betrayal cascaded through their lives like a stone cast into still water, rippling outward and disrupting everything in its path. In the immediate aftermath, the individuals involved found themselves grappling with a myriad of emotions, their once stable world now dangerously off balance. For the wife, the revelation of their mutual deceit left her reeling, grappling with a newfound understanding of herself and the man she once knew so intimately. The clandestine affair, which had served as a means of reclaiming power, now felt like a double-edged sword, slicing through her sense of self-worth and leaving behind an intricate tapestry of regret and liberation. Her husband, on the other hand, faced the undeniable truth of his actions with a mixture of self-reproach and disbelief. The facade he so carefully crafted crumbled, revealing the complexity of a man torn between desire and responsibility. As the reality of their choices settled in, both individuals were forced to confront the fragments of their fractured marriage, each wondering if the pieces could ever be reassembled into a coherent whole. The impact of their actions extended far beyond the confines of their own relationship, seeping into their social circles and altering the dynamics among friends and acquaintances. Whispers of their betrayal spread like wildfire, igniting conversations and judgments that cast long shadows over what was once a close-knit community. The friends who had once gathered around their dinner table now found themselves divided, choosing sides in a conflict that none of them could have anticipated. The best friend, once a central figure in their social world, became a pariah, her actions scrutinized and judged by those who had once trusted her implicitly. The intricate web of relationships she had woven now unraveled, leaving her isolated and grappling with the consequences of her choices. Family dynamics fractured under the strain of betrayal, as the once unbreakable bonds between siblings and in-laws strained under the weight of revelation. The couple's extended family, seeking answers and understanding, found themselves drawn into the whirlpool of emotion and blame, each gathering laced with underlying tension and unspoken questions. In private moments, family photos that once evoked cherished memories now served as stark reminders of what had been lost. As time wore on, the immediate frenzy of emotions gradually gave way to the long-term repercussions of their actions, shaping the trajectories of their personal lives. The wife discovered a newfound resilience buried beneath the rubble of her marriage, an inner strength forged through the trials of betrayal and the quest for retribution. Her journey toward healing was complex and fraught with challenges, yet it was underscored by a determination to rebuild her life on her own terms. Her husband, equally transformed by the ordeal, embarked on a journey of self-discovery, seeking redemption and understanding in the aftermath of his choices. The path was neither easy nor straightforward, requiring him to confront the shadows of his past and unravel the motivations that had led him astray. In the quiet moments of introspection, he vowed to forge a new identity, one free from the burdens of deceit and betrayal. Their shared journey, though painful, was marked by an unspoken agreement to face the future with honesty and growth. As the dust settled and the echoes of their decisions resonated through the corridors of memory, they stood at a crossroads, their paths forever altered by the consequences of their actions. As we continue to explore the intricacies of this narrative, we witness the far-reaching impact of betrayal on the human spirit, where moments of weakness become catalysts for profound change. Stay with us as we delve further into the aftermath of these revelations, uncovering the lessons learned and the potential for redemption that lies within. In the labyrinthine aftermath of betrayal, the question remained, had they learned, or were they destined to repeat the cycle? Both husband and wife stood at the precipice of self-discovery, their paths diverging yet intertwined by shared history. He, a man who once sought solace in forbidden arms, now faced the visage of his own frailty. The mirror reflected not just his actions, but the deeper yearning for validation and escape from a life that had felt confining. Each morning was a choice, a step toward redemption, or a return to old shadows. With time, he began to understand that his infidelity was more than a moment of weakness. It was a signal of deeper discontent, of unspoken truths he was finally willing to confront. In whispered self-revelations, he found the courage to seek forgiveness, not just from others, but from himself, understanding that true change stemmed from acceptance and the willingness to redefine his narrative. For her, the betrayal was both a scar and a lesson etched on the heart, a duality of pain and resilience. Each day began with a decision to rise above the tumult of emotions and to let the past sculpt, not shatter, her future. In her solitude, she discovered strength untapped, a fortitude forged in the fires of hurt, yet tempered by the winds of forgiveness. She learned to trust herself anew, to see beyond the betrayal and into a world of possibilities she had once discounted. Her story became one of self-empowerment, of a woman rewriting her destiny from the ashes of her past. She pondered forgiveness, not as a gift to those who had wronged her, but as a liberation, a release from the chains of bitterness that threatened to bind her spirit. Yet, forgiveness was not synonymous with forgetting, nor was it an erasure of the lessons emblazoned in her memory. The complexity of human relationships lay bare before them, a testament to the inherent duality of love and hurt. They understood that forgiveness was a journey, not a destination, a path that required patience, introspection, and a willingness to embrace the shadows as well as the light. Whether their paths would eventually converge in unity or diverge towards separate futures remained uncertain, but one truth prevailed: the cycle of betrayal had been halted, not through the repression of past wounds, but through the conscious choice to learn and grow. As they navigated their respective journeys, they embodied the notion that change, though arduous, was not only possible but essential. Their shared narrative became a tapestry woven with lessons learned, a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity and the profound capacity for transformation. Through the lens of their experience, they invited us to reflect upon our own lives, to question the boundaries of forgiveness and the potential for change, and to embark on a journey of understanding that transcends the transgressions of the past. As we conclude this chapter, consider these lessons not just as their story, but as part of our shared human experience, calling us to ponder the delicate dance of love, loss, and the unyielding complexity of relationships. Public perception and media attention descended like an intense spotlight, exposing the private intricacies of their lives to the court of public opinion. What had once been a fiercely personal storm now spilled into the realm of societal scrutiny, each wave of revelation magnified tenfold by the insatiable appetite for scandal. In the age of social media, where whispers become roars within moments, their story became fodder for an audience eager to dissect every layer of betrayal. It started with a leaked message, the kind that ignites the wildfire of speculation, swiftly traveling from the secluded corners of conversation to the bustling arena of public discourse. News outlets caught wind, their headlines splashed with sensational narratives that spoke to the darkest curiosities of the human condition. What happened behind closed doors found its way onto screens and feeds, each headline a beacon for onlookers seeking the latest turn in this real-life drama. As reporters pieced together fragments of the tale, each article crafted a version of events that blurred the lines between fact and conjecture. The individuals at the heart of this narrative found themselves characters in a play not of their own making, their reputations placed on trial without defense. Public opinion ebbed and flowed like the tide, with opinions formed in the shadows of limited knowledge and projected onto the vast canvas of social media. In posts and comments, the faceless masses weighed in, some offering empathy, others casting judgment from the safety of anonymity. Their pictures, once part of cherished memories, now served as symbols of betrayal, dissected in forums and shared with a voracious curiosity. As the story gained momentum, the consequences of this external scrutiny took a toll on their personal lives, shaping their interactions and altering the fabric of relationships once held dear. While some friends and acquaintances distanced themselves, others drew closer, offering strength amid the cacophony of voices. The couple's journey became emblematic of a universal truth: the thin line between private and public, and the power of society to influence individual journeys through expectations and judgments. In the eye of this media storm, they were forced to confront not only the consequences of their actions, but the far-reaching ripples that extended into every facet of their existence. This public reckoning, while challenging, also paved the way for introspection and growth, inspiring them to redefine their narrative beyond the headlines. As the media storm raged on, it illuminated the resilience needed to reclaim identity in the face of overwhelming opinion, highlighting the intricate dance between personal choices and the ever-watchful eye of a judgmental world. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the impact of public perception, exploring how the court of public opinion can shape destinies and redefine lives in ways unforeseen. In reflecting upon this intricate web of betrayal and revenge, we traverse a landscape woven with the fragile threads of trust and the kaleidoscope of human emotions. The husband's deceit tore at the very fabric of their union, a love story tainted by the allure of forbidden affection. In the eye of this storm, the wife sought retribution, mirroring the betrayal that had shattered her world. As each layer of deceit unfolded, we witnessed the convoluted dance of guilt, regret, and self-discovery. The interplay of loyalty and betrayal served not only as a microcosm of their personal saga, but as a mirror reflecting the complexities of the human heart. It is here that we confront the fundamental questions that linger long after the tale is told. What does it mean to love, and what boundaries are drawn by trust? How do we navigate the murky waters of forgiveness and the relentless pursuit of truth in a world where shadows often obscure the light? In revisiting this narrative, we find that the echoes of deceit and the thirst for revenge are not simple black and white, but a spectrum of emotions bound by our shared humanity. Through their story, we are invited to ponder our own journeys, to question the nature of our own relationships and the delicate ties that bind us together. As we close this chapter, remember that in the heart of every betrayal lies the potential for change and understanding. We invite you to share your thoughts, reflect on the themes we explored, and join us in unraveling more stories of human complexity. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales that illuminate the shadows of our shared experiences, where each story serves as both a reflection and a lesson in the art of living.